All right, so this is kind of the fun part, okay? So we talked about how brain gets data and then tells the body what to do. Okay, we got that. But how does the mind process situations that happens in our lives, right? So this model is called cognitive triad and is used by a very popular, very evidence-based therapy called cognitive behavioral therapy. Basically, this model is saying that your thoughts and emotions and behaviors are all connected, so it kind of forms a triangle. And unfortunately, my PowerPoint option for diagram only shows one arrow, but it can go the other way around too, okay? I'm gonna use some scenarios to kind of show you how this model actually will play out in real life. So scenario number one, okay? So situation happens when you're texting your husband, your partner, your boyfriend, or your adult son who never answers his texts or calls. You're texting him, okay? The situation is that, so your organs, your eyes are seeing the phone, you're hearing the text, your hands are actually typing, right? It's been 20 minutes, no reply. 40 minutes, no reply. Half a day, no reply. Okay? This is a situation. Is everybody resonating?
Yes.
Who went through this? All right. So what would be your thought is if it's been half a day and you texted somebody that you care about and they did not text back? You can raise your hand.
Something's happening.
Something's happening. Something's wrong.
They're ignoring me.
Yeah, they're ignoring me. They're cheating on me, right? It could go, or they're dead, right? It could go to an extreme. So let's say that we had this thought, right? What would be the emotions that kind of feels with that thought? Scared, nervous, right? Worried, right? And what kind of behavior would you do with that thought and emotions? Act out, yeah. Go to maybe hammer text that person. Hey, where are you? I thought you were gonna be there, right?
Text in all caps.
All caps. All exclamation mark, right? So then this behavior creates another situation that will trigger another cognitive triad, not only for you now, but for the other person, right? They're receiving those texts and they're gonna run through another cognitive triad for that. So this is exactly how our mind works. Isn't that crazy? And can you imagine that this is immediate? There's no sense of control per se, right? Now let's look at the same situation, but scenario number two. So situation is the same. You texted them, no reply for half a day. But let's say that this time we have the thought, man, they're not texting me back, but I think they had something. I think they had a meeting at work. Or I think they said that they were gonna do something and they can't get to me as fast as I could. Let's say that we have that thought, like giving a benefit of the doubt, okay? What kind of emotions do you think we'll feel here?
Just calm.
A little bit more neutral, a little bit more calm, right? Not as worried or anxious. What kind of behavior do you think we'll have here? Do you think we'll hammer text?
No, you're patient.
No. You might even just text once, be like, hey, I was looking for you, but I think I remember you had something, just call me back when you are free, right? Then that behavior creates another situation. You're waiting, you're just texting once. So do you see how that situation creates another cognitive triad wheel, turning for you and turning for the other person? So if we can just kind of, this is a very zoomed in situation, but how many times do we create these situations in a day? How many times for the other person? Every time you interact, right? It's another spin of the cognitive triad. So what's the difference here for scenario number one and scenario number two? The thought, yeah. So it's like a muscle, and I like to say that scenario number one is a person who's mentally fragile, okay? They're reactive, immediate, it misfires of the cognitive triad, lack of in real life processing. We always say that hindsight is 20/20, right? So somebody who always reflects in always in hindsight, right? In real life, it's hard to reflect. Lack of insight, lack of perspective, lack of boundaries, and insecure, okay? Scenario number 2 is mentally resilient mind. It thinks through options, slower to react, is a controlled fire of cognitive triad, can process immediately in real time, insightful, has balanced perspective, so not only my perspective, but the other person's perspective, right? Has boundaries, and is very secure as much as possible, okay? So I like to kind of use the analogy of the muscle. Maybe some of you guys are listening, oh, okay, I have a mentally fragile mind, like I'm screwed, right? Who's feeling like that? But I like to kind of take a pause and say, well, mentally fragile mind is not going to be mentally fragile for a lifetime. It's like lifting a workout muscle, right? Like sometimes 5 pounds starting off, it is so tough, right? And then you get sore the next day and you're like, should I do this? I don't know if I want to, my back hurts, right? But if you commit to it, you can start lifting 10, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, you grow. And I want to kind of bring you to understand that our mind can grow to be more resilient over time, okay?